So here we are. This is my contractually obligated Zelda video per request of Thunder. I really had no idea what I was going to do for this video. First and foremost, I haven't played every Zelda game. I like the series, I just haven't played through every game yet. But that means I couldn't just sit here and give you my rank of them all, because that just wouldn't be fair. But there is one thing about Zelda that always bugged me, and it's the through line of the stories as a whole. I was originally going to make this a video about me discussing the timeline of the franchise, but I think that video would have gone a little bit like this. Hey, have you Googled Zelda's timeline? Why, yes, in fact I have. Ah, well, so have I. Essentially, adding absolutely nothing to the conversation. So instead, I've decided to make this video into an if we made, and I'll explain to you the changes I would have made in the Zelda franchise right here, right now. So, like I said before, I haven't played every single Zelda game, so I got info I might have been missing from the timeline on Zelda.com. My biggest issue with the franchise is the lack of structure and continuity in the story. We live in an age where there's a 23-film franchise that has practically complete continuity and has become the standard for every platform of storytelling. Even before that, video games had started having compelling and thought-out storylines for multiple games. You now have to think that at least 10 years down the line with each story you create, whether it's a game, movie, or book. However, that's not the world that Zelda was conceived in back in the 80s. The concept of an elaborate story-based RPG was practically unheard of. You had a character, he had an objective, and that was all you knew about him. Even if the character was a spaceship and the objective was to blow up asteroids, that was enough narrative in the game world. You can't blame Shigeru and Takashi for just wanting to make a fun game in the 80s. It'd be ridiculous for me to sit here and say, what I would have changed in Zelda would have been making it the first multi-game narrative RPG in existence. So instead, I want to get right to the point of the decision I would make in the Zelda timeline, which is making the timeline one singular linear timeline, as opposed to 2 or 3 that it is currently. And I'm gonna do my best to explain that right here, right now. Some of us may or may not know this, but the Link you play in each game isn't always necessarily the same exact Link you played in the last one. Sometimes he's a reincarnation of the hero spread out over thousands of years. That actually makes my idea pretty simple. You just expand one of the timelines. There it is, it's done. Not really though. Like I said before, the info on the Zelda timeline that I'm using is from www.zelda.com, so if you have any issues with the original timeline I'm using, don't take it up with me, take it up with whoever has the domain name for Zelda. So, spoiler alert, either way, Ganon is coming back. Sorry. If that wasn't the case, it'd be like Mario's timeline where Mario kills Bowser forever. It's like, now what are you gonna do? Actually, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Between both timelines, this motherfucker gets reincarnated at least 4 times! What's the point of even splitting up Ocarina of Time if you're just gonna bring him back multiple times in both timelines? Anyways, to start, I would keep everything up until the split the exact same. So that means we'd start with Skyward Sword to Minish Cap, 4 swords, and then Ocarina of Time. From here, I have an important decision to make. Does he win, or does he lose? In the actual timeline of Zelda, there are 2 outcomes in this game that split the timeline. One in which Link defeats Ganon, and one where he loses. I'm going to pick Link defeating Ganon, because there's literally a sequel to this timeline. So Link defeats Ganon, and then we have Majora's Mask. Then we have Twilight Princess that brings back the shadow form of Ganondorf. Then we're at 4 Swords Adventures where Ganondorf is resurrected, and then we move on to the adult Link era. By the end of 4 Swords Adventures, Ganondorf is defeated, and then, who would have guessed it, he's resurrected again. You know, I wonder which resurrected version they use in Smash. Or is he different every time? Who knows? From here, we have Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks being the last of this timeline. So assuming Ganon isn't defeated by the end of the game's spirit tracks, it could make combining these timelines very easy by saying this version of the hero Link passes in spirit tracks, and Ganon lives on for a millennium without a new hero foe. And if he is defeated again, then we just say he gets resurrected again. If you were okay with it the first 20 times, I don't see why this one wouldn't be believable. From here, Link has an upward battle against the King of Hyrule, Ganon. With Ganon in full power, that leads us into the part of the timeline originally connected to Ocarina of Time's Link losing against Ganon. Link to the Past, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, and Link's Awakening have the same Link and follow him slowly losing track of actually defeating Ganon. Then, A Link Between Worlds happens, not much to say there. Then Link and his two friends, Link and Link, get way into fashion. And then, he finally takes shit seriously with his final resurrection into the Link from Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. One way or another, Ganon goes mad with power, which leads us to Breath of the Wild, where we see Link, Zelda, and the Guardians seal Ganon in the ruins of Hyrule Temple at the expense of their own lives, leading to the events of Breath of the Wild. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, listening, hearing what I had to say. For those of you who don't know, I was challenged by our very Thunder, like I'm pretty sure I said at the beginning of this video, to make this one. I hope I did a good job. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you next time.